of geekoutdoors.com. Now, on these live series on Mondays, I actually talk about content creation and marketing. And so if you are that type of geek who is a creative geek who also enjoys marketing as well, then this is the perfect place for you. So today I'm going to be talking about how to talk in front of the camera in 3 simple steps. Now, this is something that I had to learn, and basically through trial and error, and also through a lot of tutorials that I've gone through. But basically it's something that I've learned, and I'm going to share with people who might be brand new to the whole area of talking in front of a camera, especially when it's something for YouTube. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. And the first thing that you need to do is pick a style. And what I mean by that is, normally when you are producing videos, you're either going to have a script or an outline. Okay, so you're going to have something like this, right, where you have everything written down that you want to talk about. Okay, now I use an outline format, so I'm going to go over the differences between the two and kind of like the advantages and disadvantages of using either one of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the very first one, and that is a script. So a lot of people who I think are brand new to doing videos, doing in style camera, front of camera type videos, normally if they've never done it before, they're probably going to need some type of script. And a script is something that you write down, basically what you're going to talk about. And for some people, it's going to be line by line. And now the main advantage of doing that is you already have an idea of what you're going to talk about. You have detailed notes on exactly what you're going to say. And so typically when people do an actual script, they'll have it written down. And then in terms of shooting the video, what they'll normally do is either one of two things. They'll either memorize the entire script and deliver it word for word. And of course, it might not be perfect, so they might have to go back and edit it or redo it. Or I think the better approach is go ahead and shoot one part of your script at a time. So different clips one at a time. Okay, so then you could string all of them together at the end in editing, and then it'll just look like one seamless flow. And that's the one that I've seen that's worked for a lot of people when using a script. Because if you have a long video and you try to script everything, it's going to be pretty challenging unless you're just really good at it, or unless you have an amazing memory. Okay, and also another thing is the disadvantage of doing a script is I really feel that it doesn't seem as natural. And so especially if you are doing something like this where you are shooting a live video, when you're shooting a live video, I think a script is going to be a lot harder to follow. Okay, so that's why for me personally, I like to follow the outline method. Okay, so the outline method, it works better for me because first and foremost, very similar to script, it does have a goal that you have in mind of what you want to discuss, what you want to talk about. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's very similar to a script. But the other thing with it is that it's more free-flowing. It's more natural. And so whenever you are making videos, if you get used to doing an outline type format, then I think it's easier for you to transition to many different types of videos. So if you are the type of person who probably doesn't plan to do live videos, then maybe a script format might be better for you if that's what you're comfortable with. But the thing with that is that if you do decide to do many different types of formats, and especially with live videos, which is becoming more and more popular on multiple platforms, you're going to have to learn how to do live video. There's really no way around that. And some people can do live through a script, but I think it makes it more challenging. And also with an outline, I really think you can also be more flexible in what you talk about. So for example, I had an outline of the 3 things that I'm going to be talking about today in terms of, talking in front of the camera. So I have a good idea of what I'm going to talk about. But as I'm going through this, as it's more like spontaneous in a lot of ways, if there's other ideas that come to mind, I didn't really have to adhere to script. And so I don't have to remember too many things. And so that's the very first thing, choose your style. My personal preference is using an outline versus a script. And so you can also choose a combination of both. Maybe for some videos, it's better off if you do a script, especially if it's going to be something professionally produced for a company. For example, if you had a sponsor, then maybe that's going to be a better idea for you to use a script. And so I say start with an outline and then play around with it. Try outline versus script, see what works better for you. And for a lot of people, I think in the end, they're probably going to use a combination of both depending on the situation. Just like the example I showed you of having a company or a professional sponsor, that you're probably going to have some type of script, and usually the scripts are provided to you by the company, and so that's first and foremost. But overall, I prefer the outline method. It's a lot more free-flowing, and it's also a lot more fun, I think, than having to be very regimented, and also sometimes it seems very robotic when everything's scripted out. And so let's go ahead and lead to the number 2 thing that will help you to speak in front of camera, and that is quite simply speak in front of the camera like you would to a person. Be very conversational. And I think that helps a whole bunch. So very similar to the whole scripting versus outlining thing, this is more natural. It's more authentic in a lot of ways, because if you see things that are scripted, there really seems to be a robotic and also inauthentic tone to it. However, if it is more conversational, like you're just talking to a person, just pretend like you're talking to somebody in front of the camera, it makes things a whole lot easier. You are less nervous, and you could really go back and forth a lot quicker, especially if you were having live episodes where you were interacting with other people. And so if you are used to, pretending like, or maybe viewing it as a conversation, it becomes way easier for you to shoot videos. That's why I could produce so many videos. I have like over 800 videos now, most of which aren't published, but you can see how I'm able to produce a lot, because if you watch a lot of my videos, it's just like me talking to you. Okay, and that's the way I like it. When I'm watching other YouTube channels, I prefer the more conversational approach, because it feels like I'm talking to that person, and it feels more authentic to me personally. And also, you're like building relationships with people. And so I think for a lot of people, they prefer a more natural conversational type tone versus being very robotic and structured. Okay, so that's the second thing. And then the final thing that will help you to speak in front of camera is obviously to speak in front of camera. Make a video, make multiple videos, get lots of practice. There's really no way around that. Even if you are somebody who has had public speaking experience in the past, okay, you're good with talking to people, you're good with talking in front of people, there's a really different element when you do video. Even though if you do have those skills, you do have an advantage. It's just that when you do it on YouTube or any other platform where you have to do video, it's just different. I don't know how to explain that. And the more that you do it, the better that you get. And also the more creative that you get as well. And that's one of the main reasons why I produce so many videos, is because I know that I'm not really good at it. I have done public speaking before. I've spoken in front of audiences. But then whenever I did YouTube videos, for some reason, I got nervous again. I was tripping up on my words. I was saying ums and ahs a lot, and I still do. But I'm going to get into details of that a little bit later. But for the most part, by doing a lot of videos, making a lot of mistakes and learning from them, things just got a lot better in the long run, And right now, I would say if I compare my video presentation now versus when I first started doing my videos on YouTube, it's gotten so much better. And those are the 3 main things that I think will help you speak in front of the camera. First and foremost, pick a style, script or outline, or maybe do a combination of both. I prefer outline. The second thing is to actually be very conversational when you're speaking in front of a camera, like it's your friend. That helps a whole bunch. And then finally, just create videos. Keep practicing. It'll just help you get better and better. And over time, it just becomes natural. Like nowadays, I could turn my phone around, put it on live, and I could talk. It's really not a problem. And then coming up with ideas, since I put out videos pretty much every single day, it's not difficult for me to come up with ideas. But all of these things didn't come right away. It took a lot of time, and I'm still learning, and I'm still improving. And so those are the main things. So let me talk about some other details that I think might help you as well. And so if you are really new to public speaking, okay, you really get nervous around people, this is a strategy that some people use. Just talk in front of a mirror. That might help a lot, because then you kind of can see your mannerisms, how you are actually talking, your speed, and also whether or not you are pausing a lot, and I'll get into that as well. Or what I prefer, instead of using a mirror, just go ahead and record yourself on your phone or a camera, whatever you have. Obviously, don't publish it, and then watch it. I watch a lot of my own videos, and I think a lot of YouTubers and content creators do as well. And it's not really a narcissistic thing. It's because you're trying to see whether or not there's areas that you can improve, and also the areas that you are doing well. Okay, so I think the mirror approach, I think that was an old school way of doing it. I prefer just go ahead and recording yourself, speaking, have your script available, have your outline available. Just pretend that you are actually recording a video for YouTube or whatever platform right away, but then look at it. Actually look at it and see how you are actually talking in front of a camera. And though the second thing is when you're actually speaking. Okay, this is very normal for a lot of people to have pauses where you're saying, oh, you have all these pauses, or you're stuttering, and that's normal. And that's normal for everyone to have, especially if they are not used to speaking in front of an audience or just speaking in general. Some people are not very good at speaking. Some people are extremely introverted and so forth. There's so many things around that. But my strategy is, obviously, beyond the practice, whenever you're speaking and you feel like you don't know what to say, it's better to just pause for a moment and then continue speaking. And I'm not exactly 100% on this. I still say ums, uhs, and so forth. But for the most part, I can continue my conversation because I actually pause, think about what I'm going to say, and then continue talking. And obviously, this is a thing that will take time. And I'm still developing it myself, but I think it's a very important skill. And then some of the things that I'm still running into, me personally, is besides saying ohs, I normally don't say that as much anymore, but I repeat a lot of the same words. For example, a lot of my videos, I say really or actually. I say those words quite a bit without even realizing. And so those words have actually substituted my ums and ohs. But for the most part, if I look at my old videos and I compare it to it now, I think it's gotten way better. And so those are all my thoughts on how to speak in front of the camera. It's really simple, in my opinion, in terms of the actual strategies. But what's not simple is actually doing it and getting that practice that you'll need. And so one of the things that will also help, and I know this is kind of scary, is to do live videos like this. That's why I decided to do this live video today, because I wanted to show you, without any type of scripting, with just a very brief outline, the reality of actually talking in front of the camera. This is something that I think will help you a lot. And not only will it help you on YouTube, but it'll help you in the real world. Because of doing so much of this YouTube stuff, it's actually improved my communication skills in the real world with other people. Because the same strategies that I use here for YouTube, I use it out there when I'm actually talking to people. And Carlos, Enrique, thanks for joining, and thank you for that comment, for nice tips. And so that is it for this particular episode. There's really not many people on the live video right now, but if you did have any other questions, please let me know. But if not, I will be closing this episode off. And just remember that every week I normally do have 2 live videos. On Saturday, I normally have my Geek and Linux talk. And then on Mondays, I have these talks where I really is focused on content creation and marketing. And also, if you are a creative geek and you are thinking about becoming a content creator, well, I do have something special for you, because I've actually created 30 videos and other additional content just for creative geeks out there, and all of this is free. And so if this is something that you're interested in, be sure to check out the link below. You can head to my page and get access there. And so that's it for this episode. If you had any other thoughts, ideas, leave all of that in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to subscribe. And if you did want to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/geekoutdoors.